Have you ever woken up feeling like the day is already slipping through your fingers? Like no matter how hard you try, you're always playing catch-up? What if I told you that by making just a few small changes to your morning routine, you could completely transform not only your day, but your entire life? As the saying goes, win the morning, win the day. In this video, I'm going to share 7 simple yet powerful habits that have revolutionized the way I start my day. These aren't just surface-level tips or ideas you've heard 1,000 times before. These are practical, real-life habits that I've personally tested and integrated into my life. And the results? They've been nothing short of extraordinary. I'll be honest, it wasn't always easy. I've faced the same struggles you might be going through: chaotic mornings, lack of motivation, and feeling like there's never enough time. But through trial and error, I discovered these habits that help me take back control of my mornings, boost my productivity, and approach each day with clarity and purpose. Whether you're looking to be more productive, improve your mental health, or simply start your day on a positive note, these habits can help you get there. And the best part, they're simple, actionable steps that you can start implementing right away. So grab your coffee, tea, or even just a notebook and settle in. Trust me, you'll want to stick around until the very end, because the last habit I'll share is the one that ties everything together, and it's an absolute game changer. Plus, I'll be sharing personal stories, challenges, and breakthroughs from my own journey to show you exactly how these habits worked for me and how they can work for you too. 1. The life-changing power of waking up early. Waking up early was a habit I once resisted, convinced that my warm bed was more valuable than an extra hour in the morning. I would hit the snooze button repeatedly, rush through my mornings, and start my day feeling behind. But when I finally committed to waking up early, everything changed. The first few days were tough. Dragging myself out of bed at 5 a.m. felt unnatural, and I questioned whether it was worth it. But as I pushed through, I began to notice something incredible. The early morning hours were peaceful, free from distractions, and full of possibility. The world was quiet, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had control over my day rather than letting it control me. With these extra hours, I started my day with intention instead of chaos. A short stretch or jog woke me up, filling me with energy instead of exhaustion. I took time to meditate, plan my day, and simply enjoy the stillness before the world woke up. No longer rushing through my morning, I could savor my coffee, eat a proper breakfast, and mentally prepare for what lay ahead. One morning, as I stood on my balcony watching the sunrise, I realized how much I had been missing. The sky shifted from deep blues to soft oranges, and for the first time in a long time, I felt deeply present. That moment of stillness, of gratitude, made me understand why so many successful people swear by early mornings. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being." Waking up early is not about suffering through exhaustion, but about reclaiming your time and setting a positive tone for the day. Think about your own mornings. Do they feel rushed, stressful, or unproductive? What would change if you started your day with clarity and purpose instead of urgency? The good news is, you don't need to overhaul your routine overnight. Start by waking up just 15 minutes earlier than usual. Use that time for something meaningful, stretching, reading, reflecting, or simply enjoying a quiet moment before the day begins. If you commit to it for just a week, you may be surprised at how much of a difference it makes. Small changes in the morning ripple into the rest of your day, affecting your mindset, productivity, and overall well-being. So, will you take the challenge? Try waking up earlier for the next 7 days and see how it transforms your mornings. If you're ready to take control of your day instead of letting it control you, drop a comment below. I will own my mornings. Let's build habits that lead to a more intentional, fulfilling life. 2. Exercise daily. Care for body and soul. Daily exercise was a habit that changed my life, but I didn't always see it that way. I used to find every excuse to avoid working out. I'm too tired, I don't have time, or I'll start tomorrow. Sound familiar? But one day, I had enough. I committed to moving my body every day for just 1 week, and what happened next was beyond what I expected. I started small, just 20 minutes a day, alternating between yoga, jogging, and strength training to keep things interesting. The first few days were rough. My muscles ached, and I felt drained, but I reminded myself that growth comes from discomfort. Then, something amazing happened. By the 4th day, I woke up feeling different, lighter, more energized, and surprisingly positive. It was as if my body had woken up alongside my mind. I wasn't just exercising to burn calories, I was giving myself a moment of clarity, a space to breathe, and a way to release stress. One morning, I laced up my sneakers for a jog. The air was crisp, the sky clear, and as I ran, I felt a sense of freedom I hadn't experienced in years. There was no pressure, no competition, just me, the open road, and my thoughts. It was in that moment that I understood. Exercise wasn't just about physical fitness. It was about reconnecting with myself, breaking free from the mental clutter, and finding a rhythm that made me feel alive. The physical changes came too: better posture, increased strength, and an overall sense of well-being. But the biggest transformation was in my mindset. Movement became a form of self-care rather than a chore. Trying yoga for the first time was another unexpected breakthrough. I had always assumed I wasn't flexible enough, or that it wasn't a real workout, but after a few sessions I was hooked. Yoga taught me patience, mindfulness, and how to truly listen to my body. It was more than just stretching, it was a reminder to slow down and be present. Exercise isn't about extremes or pushing yourself to exhaustion. It's about finding a movement that you genuinely enjoy and making it a regular part of your life. Whether it's a morning walk, dancing in your living room, hiking, or lifting weights, the key is to start small and stay consistent. If you're struggling to get started, ask yourself, what kind of movement makes me feel good? What is one small step I can take today? Even just 5 minutes of intentional movement can create a shift in your mood and energy. So here's a challenge. Commit to just a few minutes of movement every day for the next week and see how you feel. Drop a comment below. I choose to move daily. Let's inspire each other to build a habit that strengthens both the body and the mind, because in the end, taking care of yourself is the greatest investment you'll ever make. 3. Eat mindfully. Appreciate every meal. For years, I rushed through meals without a second thought, eating while scrolling through my phone, watching television, or working on my laptop. Food was just fuel, something to get through quickly before moving on to the next task. But when I committed to mindful eating for a week, everything changed. Mindful eating is the simple yet powerful practice of being fully present with your food, noticing the textures, flavors, and even the emotions tied to each bite. I started by eliminating distractions. No screens, no multitasking, just me and my meal. At first, sitting in silence with my food felt strange, but soon it became a peaceful ritual. Taking a deep breath before eating helped me slow down, appreciate my meal, and reconnect with my body's natural hunger and fullness cues. One morning, I prepared my usual bowl of oatmeal, something I had eaten hundreds of times before. But instead of rushing through it, I took my time. I noticed the creamy texture, the warmth of the cinnamon, the gentle sweetness of honey. What had once been a routine breakfast suddenly felt like an experience, a moment of gratitude and mindfulness that set the tone for my entire day. One of the most surprising benefits of mindful eating was how much more satisfied I felt with smaller portions. By slowing down and truly tasting my food, I realized that I didn't need as much to feel full. I also became more aware of how different foods made me feel. Heavy, processed meals left me sluggish, while fresh, whole foods gave me energy. This awareness naturally led to better food choices, not because I forced myself to eat healthy, but because I genuinely wanted to feel good. Beyond nutrition, mindful eating also revealed the emotional triggers behind my eating habits. I started noticing when I was eating out of boredom, stress, or habit rather than true hunger. One evening, after a long day, I craved something sweet. In the past, I would have automatically reached for dessert, but this time I paused and asked myself, am I actually hungry, or do I just want comfort? I realized I was just tired, so I made a cup of herbal tea instead. That small moment of awareness felt like a victory, proof that mindful eating wasn't about restriction, but about making choices that truly served me. If you've ever felt disconnected from your food or caught in mindless eating habits, I encourage you to try this. For just one meal a day, eat without distractions. Take a deep breath before your first bite. Chew slowly and really pay attention to the flavors and how the food makes you feel. You might be surprised at how much more enjoyable and fulfilling your meals become. Food is more than just sustenance. It's an opportunity to slow down, reconnect, and appreciate the simple joys of life. If you're ready to start, drop a comment below. I will eat mindfully. Let's commit to bringing more awareness, gratitude, and enjoyment to every meal. 4. Write a journal. I used to think journaling was just for writers, philosophers, or people who had too much free time on their hands. Life moves so fast, and the idea of sitting down to write about my day felt unnecessary. After all, what was the point of putting my thoughts on paper when they were already in my head? But when I committed to journaling for just 1 week, everything changed. I started small, just 10 minutes before bed, no fancy notebook, no rules, no expectations. The first night, I stared at the blank page, unsure of where to begin. So I wrote whatever came to mind, how my day went, what made me happy, what challenged me. At first, it felt awkward, like I was writing to no one. But as the days went on, something interesting happened. I started writing more freely, diving deeper into my emotions, my goals, my fears, and even my self-doubts. And that's when I realized the true power of journaling. It wasn't about recording my day. It was about understanding myself. One night, after a particularly stressful day at work, I wrote down everything that had frustrated me, the challenges, the misunderstandings, the overwhelming to-do list. And as I put my thoughts into words, I saw my emotions for what they were, temporary. Instead of dwelling on my stress, I started to see solutions. Instead of feeling powerless, I gained perspective. Journaling became a space where I could untangle my thoughts, making sense of the chaos in my mind. But it wasn't just about processing stress, it was also about growth. I started tracking my small victories, writing about moments I was proud of, no matter how small. I wrote about a presentation I had been nervous about and how I had prepared for it. Weeks later, rereading that entry reminded me that I had faced my fears and succeeded, and that confidence carried into future challenges. It's easy to forget our own progress when we're always focused on what's next, but journaling showed me how far I had come. One of the most surprising benefits of journaling was the shift in my mindset when I started a gratitude section. Every night I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for. At first, I listed big things: family, health, opportunities. But soon, I started appreciating the little things: the kindness of a stranger, the beauty of a quiet morning, the comfort of a good book. Writing these down made me more aware of them in real life. I found myself pausing during the day to take in these small, beautiful moments instead of rushing past them. One night I wrote about a simple moment: someone helping me when I struggled with grocery bags. That small act of kindness stayed with me, and writing about it not only deepened my gratitude but inspired me to do the same for someone else. Journaling is not about being a great writer or having profound thoughts. It's about creating a space where you can be completely honest with yourself. It's about slowing down, reflecting, and making sense of your thoughts and emotions. If you've never tried it, I encourage you to start. Don't overthink it, just write. Write about your day, your thoughts, your frustrations, your dreams. The act of writing itself brings clarity, peace, and self-awareness. Try it for 1 week and see how it changes your perspective. If you're ready to take this step towards self-discovery, drop a comment below. I will write my thoughts. Let's commit to understanding ourselves better, 1 page at a time. 5. The life-changing power of gratitude. Practicing gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful habits you can develop. For a long time, I found myself constantly focusing on what was missing in my life goals I hadn't reached, things that didn't go as planned, or problems that seemed too big to overcome. This mindset left me feeling stressed and dissatisfied, always chasing the next thing instead of appreciating what was already in front of me. But when I committed to practicing gratitude for just 1 week, everything changed. Every morning, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for. At first, they were small morning coffee, a message from a friend, the warmth of the sun on my face. But as the days passed, I noticed a shift. I began to see gratitude in places I had overlooked before. One morning, I was overwhelmed with stress about a looming work deadline. Instead of letting frustration consume me, I took a deep breath and wrote down 3 things I appreciated: the opportunity to work on a project I cared about, the support of my colleagues, and the simple fact that I had a quiet space to focus. This 1-minute exercise completely reframed my perspective. The stress didn't disappear, but it no longer controlled me. I was able to approach the day with a clearer mind and a more positive attitude. Gratitude isn't just about what you feel internally, it's also about what you express to others. I made it a point to thank the people in my life more often, whether it was a co-worker who helped me with a task, a friend who made me laugh, or a family member who simply checked in on me. One of the most memorable moments was when I wrote a heartfelt thank you letter to a mentor who had supported me through a difficult time. Their response was filled with warmth and appreciation, and it reminded me how powerful gratitude can be in strengthening relationships. When was the last time you truly expressed appreciation for someone in your life? A simple thank you, whether spoken or written, can have a lasting impact not just on them, but on you as well. Beyond relationships, gratitude also made me more mindful. Instead of constantly chasing the next goal, I started to slow down and notice the beauty in the present moment. The sound of rain against my window, the feeling of accomplishment after finishing a task, the laughter of a stranger passing by. These small moments, once overlooked, became sources of happiness. If you want to try practicing gratitude, start small. Each day, take a moment to write down 3 things you're thankful for, or reflect on something that went well. It doesn't have to be profound, just something that brings you a little joy. You can also take it a step further by expressing gratitude to someone in your life, whether through words, actions, or even a simple message. Gratitude is not about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about shifting your focus to the abundance that already exists in your life. So, are you ready to embrace this practice? If so, drop a comment below. I choose gratitude every day. Let's remind ourselves that happiness isn't found in what we lack, but in appreciating what we already have. 6. Limit screen time. Limiting screen time was one of the hardest habits for me to adopt, and I suspect many of you might feel the same way. In today's digital world, screens are everywhere, constantly demanding our attention. Whether it's scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, or checking emails, it's easy to lose hours without even realizing it. But when I finally acknowledged how much screen time was draining my energy, stealing my productivity, and disrupting my sleep, I decided to make a change. I set a simple rule: no more than 1 hour of non-work-related screen time per day. That meant no mindless scrolling, no endless YouTube marathons, and no late-night television binges. The first few days were difficult. I reached for my phone out of habit, craving the quick dopamine hit of notifications and entertainment. But as I pushed through, something incredible happened. I found myself with so much more time. Suddenly, I was rediscovering old hobbies I had neglected. I picked up books I had been meaning to read, started sketching again, and even experimented with cooking new recipes. It was like I had reclaimed lost hours of my life. One evening, instead of my usual routine of watching television after dinner, I decided to take a walk in the park. The fresh air, the rhythmic sound of my footsteps, and the rustling of the trees felt far more rejuvenating than any show or video ever had. That one walk turned into a nightly ritual, something I looked forward to, something that cleared my mind and helped me reconnect with the world around me. Another major change came with my sleep. I used to take my phone to bed, scrolling through social media or watching videos until I felt drowsy. But instead of helping me relax, it kept my mind wired, making it harder to fall asleep. Once I removed screens from my bedtime routine, I noticed a drastic improvement in my sleep quality. I started winding down with a book, meditation, or simply reflecting on my day. The result? Deeper, more restful sleep and a huge boost in my overall energy. My mind felt sharper, my mood improved, and my mornings no longer felt sluggish. Beyond sleep and productivity, reducing screen time had an unexpected benefit. It improved my mental health. Without the constant flood of news, social media comparisons, and digital noise, I felt less anxious and more present. I became more engaged in conversations, more aware of my surroundings, and more appreciative of simple, real-world experiences. One of the most memorable moments was when I spent an entire afternoon at a quiet cafe with nothing but a notebook and a pen. No notifications, no distractions, just my thoughts flowing freely onto paper. It was the most peaceful, creative, and productive time I had in years, and it reminded me of something important. Life happens outside of screens. Now, limiting screen time doesn't mean abandoning technology altogether. It's about finding balance and using screens intentionally rather than impulsively. If you often feel overwhelmed, distracted, or disconnected, I encourage you to try setting screen time boundaries. Start small maybe, cut back by 30 minutes a day, and use that extra time for something meaningful. Take a walk, read, create, or simply be present with loved ones. You might be surprised at how much more alive and engaged you feel. If you're ready to reclaim your time, drop a comment below. I choose real life over screen life. Let's commit to being more intentional with our time and more present in the moments that truly matter. 7. Create digital balance. Creating digital balance is one of the most important yet overlooked habits in today's world. Technology is woven into every part of our lives, making it easy to stay constantly connected, but at what cost? The endless stream of notifications, emails, and social media updates can leave us feeling overwhelmed, distracted, and mentally drained. I realized this when I caught myself reaching for my phone the moment I woke up, scrolling aimlessly during meals, and checking emails late at night. My mind felt cluttered, my focus was fractured, and even my sleep suffered. That's when I decided to take control of my digital habits and establish a healthier balance. I started small by setting clear boundaries: no phone in the first hour of the morning and the last hour before bed. At first it felt uncomfortable, like I was missing out on something, but soon I noticed a change. My mornings became calmer and more intentional, free from the immediate stress of news or social media. My nights felt more restful, and I fell asleep faster without the blue light from my screen keeping my brain wired. One of the most powerful shifts happened when I reduced my social media use. I found myself mindlessly scrolling out of habit, consuming content that added little value to my life. So, I set time limits, unfollowed accounts that didn't inspire or educate me, and became more intentional about what I engaged with. This simple change freed up hours of my day, which I used for things that actually brought me joy: reading, exercising, or simply being present with the people around me. Another breakthrough moment came when I stopped checking my phone during meals. Instead of eating while scrolling, I focused on the flavors of my food and the conversations at the table. It was a small but meaningful change that made me feel more connected to my surroundings. When was the last time you had a meal without distractions? Digital balance isn't about cutting out technology entirely. It's about using it in a way that enhances rather than controls your life. I still use my phone, check emails, and enjoy social media, but now I do it on my terms. I created tech-free zones in my home, set screen-free hours, and prioritized real-world experiences over digital ones. One of the most eye-opening moments was when I spent an entire afternoon without any screens, just a notebook, a book, and time for reflection. I felt lighter, more creative, and more present than I had in a long time. If you often feel drained by digital overload, I encourage you to take small steps toward balance. Set screen time limits, turn off unnecessary notifications, or create a no-phone rule during certain parts of your day. See how it changes your focus, mood, and overall well-being. If you're ready to take back control of your digital habits, drop a comment below. I choose balance over distractions. Let's create a healthier relationship with technology, one that works for us, not against us. Changing your mindset and improving your life doesn't require drastic changes. All it takes is small, consistent habits that build over time. The 7 habits we explored: waking up early, daily exercise, journaling, mindful eating, limiting screen time, practicing gratitude, and decluttering, are simple yet powerful tools that can help you gain clarity, boost productivity, and cultivate a more positive outlook on life. You don't have to implement them all at once. Start with one, see how it impacts you, and adjust it to fit your lifestyle. Progress, not perfection, is the key to lasting transformation. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which habit resonated with you the most? Which one are you excited to try? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join our journey at Stoic Inner Mind, where we continue to explore habits and philosophies that lead to a stronger, more fulfilled life. Let's grow together.